Well, welcome to our Wednesday gathering here in the studio. When you get Tony, Jake, Jen, myself, Danny Dwyer for a round of BSing.
Hello.
It's that thing we do every Wednesday at 10:30. We each bring a topic to the table and we throw it out there and argue about it.
We apologize it's a little late this week because Facebook is acting a fool.
You know, I bet he was listening to the morning show and heard you guys talking about his security and says, "Oh no, we'll fix that."
Yep.
You know, don't give out the details of my security.
Shut her down.
What if Facebook did shut down?
Oh, it'd probably make a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
And it would probably piss a lot of people off.
Wouldn't that be a great documentary idea? A day without Facebook.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
It would be interesting to see what happened.
Oh, think about all the birthdays that would be forgotten, Danny.
I think it should be a law that right around election time that it does have to go down.
Just not helping anything. So
That's a great idea.
Like 48 hours of silence, like leading up to the election.
For 1 month, they shut it all down.
Yeah.
Post.
I agree.
I vote yes on that.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean,
I kind of block it off anyway.
Are we being filmed right now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're on the camera. You're
Smile.
on the It's all on record, Tone. No.
Crazy uncle. Oh, jeez.
It's not on Instagram. You can keep your shirt on.
It's a nip slip. Get out of here.
Oh, boy. It got weird.
got to slip when you meant to do it.
So it's funny. We were just talking about birthdays and Facebook. Danny, your wife thought you forgot her birthday.
That's great.
Because yesterday I was so busy, like I was running around, just a million things, and I didn't post anything right first thing in the morning. She's like, he forgot my birthday.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, no, I didn't forget your birthday. I brought home flowers. I brought home a card from me personally and for the kids. I had to get that one for him. But no, I didn't forget her birthday, but it was just ironic. She's like, oh, he forgot the birthday.
Did you just throw your kids under the bus?
I did. Did you feel that big bump?
I did.
Who's the most important person in your life that has forgotten your birthday?
God, I don't think anybody's.
Really?
I mean, no. Maybe Tony.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And Jen, I saw your Facebook post, and I actually tried to watch last night. I agree. I'm too old to watch The Bachelor.
Oh.
Did you make that point, Jen?
I posted on Facebook and I said I think I'm too old now.
No.
After this
You're too old.
Yes.
It totally sucks me in every time. That's why I don't watch it. It totally gets me, and I'm old.
After this last season, I'm like, y'all, I'm out.
Did you
Here's the
watch
thing.
last night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I watched
that
the whole season.
That fifth guy that came up when they started the rose ceremony already on the show?
Was he like 10?
No, come on, bro. That's the first thing you're going to say to her?
Yeah.
I know. The thing is that I'm frustrated about, and I will get off my soapbox in 1 minute. Cassie, okay. First off, I'd like to say my mom picked Cassie from the very beginning. Me and her always try to pick the winners right
Prior
off the
to.
bat.
Sure.
My mom picked Cassie, and I picked Hannah. Hannah got let go because obviously.
Hannah B.
Yeah, Hannah B.
Because obviously. Not obvious to all of us.
Oh,
No.
because he said that he left Cassie after, like, she left him.
Did Cassie come back? Are they together?
She came back.
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, she came back last night. So I thought when she left, I told my mom, I was like, ha, you didn't win. Your girl left the show. I was like, my girl's left.
And then he jumped the fence and went after her.
Then he jumped the fence and then took Hannah B out. And then all of a sudden, Cassie came back and my mom's like, and I still won. I was like, how do you know?
But further spoiler alert, Hannah B is an ex-bachelorette. So you kind of...
No, Hannah G.
Oh, Hannah G. Jake is so lost right now.
I gotta ask. I just got one more question, and then I'll quit. I'll quit. But so, did it ever come out that he's really not a virgin? Because I don't believe.
he respectfully declined to answer the question, which means yes.
Oh, okay. He's not a virgin.
Well, he might have been at the time.
because they probably did it in the fantasy suite.
Yup, that's what I'm. God, this really.
But he did say a good man never talks and tells. So who knows?
Please.
But I
How
got
come I have 3 of the 4 guys and you're talking about
I'm
this?
the same thing though.
Jake's
I got sucked into the season. I was like all about it. I was loving some of the girls. I'm like, oh, this is good.
It was pretty good. I gotta tell you, I watched a little bit of it too.
And the last 2 nights, I'm like, I'm not going to watch because we already know what's going to happen. They're not going to get married. He's already said goodbye to a couple of girls.
She wants Instagram fame.
Right.
He's going to go on Paradise.
Right.
La, 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 la.
Right.
I think her
then-
whole family, except for the dad, wants fame. Like the mom, the sisters, they all are like, oh, you could just see they were just like, give me the camera.
Right. Yeah.
And they were beautiful people.
But
And the dad's just kind of like, you could just see it kind of like, oh, Lord,
Yeah,
how'd I
great,
get
here we
mixed
go.
up in this
Isn't that all
crap show?
reality show people, though?
But I think the funny thing
Me
is,
right now.
I had instantly said, I am not going to watch the new season of The Bachelorette. I'm just not going to watch it. And then they brought out Hannah, and I'm like, she was actually kind of cute and quirky. So I'm like, all right, maybe it'll suck me in.
She was cute and quirky.
Yeah.
Awkward is a better word.
She
Yes.
just, yeah, it's going to be
Which
weird.
is weird because she's a pageant girl. So, like,
Such
usually they're
as-
very put together and, like,
Well, you would think she'd
Such
be more on
as-
top of her game. Yeah, speaking wise and all that stuff. But
maybe
knows?
that's just a show. Who knows? Anyways, I posted that I think I'm too old now. Like, it's to the point where everybody is years younger than me, and I can't handle it.
And you know what this whole Bachelor shows me? We don't care if stuff's not real anymore.
that's right.
We'll
No,
still
we
be
don't.
entertained. Like, we know that all this stuff's really, it's basically acting. They
Oh,
even
it's
have
baloney.
have agents, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still enjoy it. I always say,
I
I
like
talk
the cat
trash about
fights.
people that watch it, and then I'll watch about 15 minutes, and I'm like, okay, what's going to happen next?
Yeah. Oh, it's like a bad accident. It just sucks you in.
They get
it's like
ya.
it's like a bad
that whole
Unless
show
it's
is
a train
one
wreck.
big
sort of
bad
thing.
Yeah.
accident.
Unless you're Jake and you continue to drive by the accident without looking.
No.
Two hands on the wheel,
Importance
10
of
and 2. Keep going.
Actually, he flies by based on the Top Gun shirt he's sporting today.
Yeah.
Now I know what that is. It's a movie.
to mock you.
It's
I
an
don't-
overrated movie.
To mock you.
Jake, do you want to start since you've been so quiet today with your topic?
Oh gosh, are we still doing this?
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
I thought we were just doing Bachelor talk with
Yeah, we want.
Tony, Jake, Jen, Danny, and Mojo. Mine today is what have you had stolen in your life? We got some bummer news from our weekender.
Yeah.
Taylor was up
Tay-Tay.
at Ski Bowl at her other job and got all of her stuff stolen, all of her board, boots, all that stuff.
Oh, that's tough.
And she's worked
Expensive
so
stuff.
hard too to get all that stuff. And
I don't want to be a nerd, but if she has a homeowner's policy or a renter's policy, it'll cover some of that.
Probably does, honestly.
she might, but
You
but
should
it
know
does-
that.
but it
She bought
doesn't
a
get rid of the
house.
headache.
I know it,
The
but
headache
you
of
know
it.
what's she's a millennial and she's a young person. She's working her tail off to make ends meet. She worked so that she can have some things to enjoy, and then some loser goes up and steals it from her. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
It's
just
disgusting.
When I owned a house back in California, we had a break-in in our shed, and I had all kinds of stuff in there. Photos of the kids. They stole my snowboard, an amp my dad gave me for my guitar, a bunch of stuff. I had a homeowner's policy that replaced most of it, but
Yeah.
some of the stuff was irreplaceable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you
'Cause you gotta
never
deduct
lose
it,
that
yeah.
feeling of violation. You know, you get violated in that
That's
way.
it. That is it right there.
Especially in a place like that for her, you know,
Yeah.
Ski Bowl, which is a source of just absolute love
Joy.
for her. Yeah.
Right.
Well, and the
Yeah,
thing that
she's got
sucks
that.
is, like, if you're downtown Portland and something gets stolen, like, okay, you were in downtown Portland with a hodgepodge of people, but, like, when you're up at Ski Bowl,
It
for
doesn't
like
matter.
I know,
No.
but I'm just
There's
saying,
people
like,
people suck all places.
I know people suck everywhere, but I just feel like when you're such a specific type place with, like, people who like to snowboard and
Yeah.
ski and are doing Ski Bowl, like, I don't know, I kind of think those people would be better humans, I guess. In my head, I try to think that way, but
Aren't you sweet?
So okay, so she lost her snowboard, her boots, and what else she lose?
Oh, her keys,
helmet, wallet,
helmet,
keys,
her wallet.
purse.
Okay, let me just ask the
Sounds-
question. Just playing devil's advocate. Was it like was it in her trunk? Was it in her truck?
Don't know.
I mean,
What's it
I-
matter? If it was sitting in front of her car, what's it matter? Don't touch other people's stuff.
Yeah.
that's the key point. But
Yeah.
they always tell you, like, how many times women jump out of a car at Safeway and leave their purse in the car, and they come out and goes, "My purse was stolen." Well, no crap, you left it in the front seat.
Nah, you
Yeah,
don't get
but-
to just like write that off.
You can't just blame the victim. That's victim shaming. You can't. I mean, look.
No, I get it, but as like Jensen said downtown, all these artists are downtown. These DJs are coming downtown with all their gear and their bands, and they're unloading. And while they're unloading, they're locking their cars, but they can't carry everything at once.
Yeah.
And they still get their cars broken into, and now they come out and all their gear is gone.
Yeah.
It sucks, and it's unfortunate, but that's like not everyone's going to get to drive a van. But that's what I was trying to figure out. Was it in sight? I mean, that's the shit.
I mean,
That's the first thing a cop's going to ask you.
Sure.
The first thing a police officer is going to ask you is when you say something was stolen from your car, was it locked? And then they will say, why'd you leave it in your car? Like,
Right.
I've been pulled over a time or two. And they would
This
say,
week.
and I didn't have my registration.
week.
I didn't have my registration, but I had my title. And I knew what was going to happen. And I would say, I got my title, and they'd go,
Why is your title in here?
yeah.
you know they can just sign that and they can steal your car. And the
Right.
reason they get frustrated with it is because they're the ones that are going to have to chase them around.
Yep. Yep.
That's when you pull down the sunglasses, you look at them, and you say, "I raced for pink slips."
Yeah.
I never do
That
that.
sucks though to hear
Cool
that. 'Cause It
reference,
is terrible. But I see what you're saying, Jen. Like everybody's like family members, like motorcycle riders. When you pass each other on the freeway, there's always a courtesy wave of another biker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing you would think for snowboarders. Like, hey man, it's my gear, whatever.
They
who
look
knows?
out
It's
for each other.
Stupid that
There's
people do that.
two things to take away from this, and not necessarily Taylor, because I don't know the situation, the circumstances surrounding it. But number one, people are jerks, or as Jen would call it,
Don't say
a-holes.
Yeah. And she would say it live on the air. But
And she wouldn't edit herself like I just did,
Yeah.
because that takes discipline, and it takes
Yeah,
years
yeah.
to accumulate that discipline. To not
working
say
on
a-hole
it.
on the air.
She's too old to edit.
Just kidding, Jen. You're the best. Just giving you a hard time. But people
what's
are jerks.
the best is she's actually probably the most moral, best one out of all of us.
Yeah.
Like she's got the best heart and the best of morals, but boy, she lets them fly every
We
now and
expect
again.
that from you, Tony, not Jen.
No, right? Hey!
People are jerks. It sucks, but that's a reality of life. I
Yeah.
wish that would change. And two, don't tempt fate. If you have your purse, hide it. When my
I
kids
do it all the time.
When my kids travel with me, and I know this is something we all probably do. When they have their tablets and their headphones, when we
Yep.
go to the store, I make them tuck them under the seat.
Yeah.
Hear that, criminals? They're under the seat.
But then it's sad. I hate to live that way, though.
I know, but it's
I still don't, and that's probably why I end up losing.
You know what
stuff.
I hate worse? Having your stuff stolen and having to go replace it all, and the headache that comes with it.
Yeah.
That sucks, but that doesn't make it any less.
You're
evil.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
True.
But we have to, knowing the circumstances that could be out there and the potential threat, we have to change the way we think. You know, most people are probably innocent getting on a plane. That doesn't mean we all don't want to get wanded and take our shoes off when we go through security, you know?
Right.
Because the one jerk that blows up a plane or does something stupid, we're all going to have to
Pay for it.
pay for it.
Yep. I think my biggest memory growing up, I'll never forget this. Our whole house was robbed in California.
Oh my
And my
gosh.
parents had literally filed bankruptcy like 7 months prior to that. So they had worked day and night to get brand new stuff, new TVs, new microwave, new everything. This whoever broke into our home, popped my waterbed even. That was a gutsy move. But
You
my-
had a
just-
water
yeah.
bed?
Maliciously?
We all had
maliciously
waterbeds
just
back
took
then.
a knife and sliced it.
He just
So we
aged
had
himself.
water damage in the house.
Oh my gosh.
We had they took one of my grandma's wedding rings that had passed away, so we never found
That's
that.
the kind of stuff that's the worst.
Right,
irreplaceable.
and it was irreplaceable, and it devastated my mom. And my mom, I remember this. She was just to the point where she was in tears every day because she was scared to come home,
Yeah.
Sure.
knowing that somebody had walked through our house and rifled through our drawers, and that was the worst feeling ever.
You know when they say you need to be the most careful, and that you jogged my memory because we had the same thing happen when I was growing up. Someone broke in our home. Is if there's, I hate to say it like this, but if there's a lot of construction going on in your neighborhood, or if you have people do some things, they say then you need to be careful because there's a lot of people now in your neighborhood who get to see your schedule. They know when you leave for work.
Yep.
They know when you come home.
Yep.
They can even, and some for what they caught, one guy was a worker, and he would call his buddy and say, "You can come now." And he was also the lookout because he's working on the roof.
Right. So he's like, "There's no cars coming."
Yeah.
Hey, you
Come on
want to
in."
know how paranoid I am?
Yeah.
When I take an Uber back to the house, I don't Uber my address. I Uber like a block up and walk.
Really?
Wow.
Think about that.
That's true.
Wow. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Especially if you're getting a ride to the airport.
I'm so naive.
Uber driver
Yeah.
knows your address, knows you're out of town for a few days.
Right.
Oh.
When I went to Hawaii, I Ubered and I was like, I had him pick up a block away, but he's like, "So where are you guys going? Where are you guys going? Oh, we're going to Hawaii."
Dude, I would never
It's funny,
even.
you and your girlfriend walking down the street with your carry bags. You're rolling them down the street. I'm just picturing that. Where are you going? Hawaii. Have fun. It's going to take you about 2 months to get there.
Well, do you swim? No, I never even thought
That's
of
a
that.
good
And I'm
idea.
usually the one who thinks of crap like that.
Right.
You gotta outsmart the criminals nowadays because
Yeah.
they're on. They got like you
But
said.
see, I
Tony,
don't want to
they-
be like that because my parents were
I
like that.
know.
My dad, he went through a really bad. I don't want to go to because it's such a horrible story, but there was a major break-in and it involved, and there was a lot of violence involved in it. And so rest of his whole life, we were like, "Did you lock the front door?"
Yeah.
I mean, we lived in a little country town. We're like, "Hey, you got to lock that front door." And you would go in the middle of the day to visit my parents. The front door was locked. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just living with that fear, and I don't want to do that. I mean, that's
It's not living with fear, but it's just making sure the information that you have to protect is on a need-to-know basis. more
Right.
So, I
It's a
guess.
little bit living with fear.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Look, I know the consequences of having your stuff stolen. I just don't want that in my life, so I'm trying to outsmart the criminals and making sure that I don't pose a potential victim threat, you know?
People drive by my house. They go, Jesus, Danny, you live in Fort Knox. I have cameras everywhere.
Hey, dude, I don't blame you.
I have
now
9
that I know
cameras
that,
on my house.
You
It's
might,
like,
you might get away
holy
with my
crap.
stuff, but I will find you.
Now
That's
that I
right.
know that and I live kind of close to you now, I might have some fun with that one.
Oh,
one evening. Get my big old booty up there in front of the camera.
Hey, man, the snipers on the roof won't think that's so funny.
You can't be like, Tony came by again.
She's like, what an ass. See, Jen,
Crazy.
notice I didn't say whole after that.
But you just did. Oh my
But it was
gosh.
too separated. So it's
Okay. So I've never had anything major, like no major break-ins or anything like that. But when I was in high school, so my parents live out in the country, and the shop we used to have it had a shop, and then it had like a carport over it. So when the truck was parked in the carport, you couldn't see, like from the road, you couldn't see like the shop area. I don't know how to explain it.
was
to
it
try
well lit at all or no?
No, especially not at night.
Yeah.
So, like if you were a creeper and you were just driving by on the road, and my dad's truck is parked in the carport, you wouldn't be able to see like the opening to the barn and the stuff that's in there. Like you wouldn't see that. You would have to come down to the shop area and snoop around in order to know what is down there. And that's what creeps me out the most, because there was like there is a meth issue down in that area, but there was particularly a time when I
Where
was
is
in
that?
high school.
America?
It was really, really bad when I was in high school in the Almsville area. And I'm sure these guys were just high looking for, I don't know if it's copper,
Yeah,
whatever,
copper wire.
copper
Yeah.
wiring. Well, there was a handle on my dad's air compressor, and the handle in the, you've got like the handle for the air compressor
And like the little hose
and
thing?
the gadget that attaches it to the
Hose.
hose,
Mhm.
that was made out of copper.
Ah.
And they had taken like scissors or
Just
something,
cut the hose?
cut the hose in the thing. So they just took that bit. And I mean, they cut it. Like you could have simply just unscrewed it.
That takes too much time.
But they just
Oh,
like
yeah.
sliced it, and that was it. And they left the handle and the air compressor, and they just took that piece. And so my dad came down there, and he was like, they wouldn't have known that was down there unless they had been down here snooping to know what was here.
Right. That's what's scary.
And so for the rest of high school, when I would come home, like off the bus or whatever, in my own car, I always was so like creeped out that there'd be somebody creeping out on our property. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Started
have
freaking out.
a little Amazon Prime hack. They have these floodlights that you can put on the side of your house that are solar powered. You don't got to plug them into your electricity or anything, and they're motion censored.
oh, we have tons of those.
They're like $15.
after
Yeah.
that.
Put them on the side, boom, light. You don't even need a plug or electricity out there.
Makes it easier. You know, steal what you're stealing.
Well, and the thing-
Ooh, this is copper.
Whoa! Well, where is? Oh, thank you, Lot. Now I see it.
Well,
you put a.
Well, he has.
camera.
They had to have been down there a few times
Sure.
to understand the property, because my dad has deer lights. So if anything walks onto the property, they censor on.
Sure.
So like they had to have known that you can walk down the sideline of the property, and I mean, they just had to have been there scoping
Sure.
before.
They were casing it.
Yeah, before they went. And when I know it's premeditated, because when they're high like that, they're not smart enough to just wander out on the property and like to know that it was like premeditated and they had a plan.
Right.
And if
That's
we
scary.
wouldn't have been on the same schedule we would have, like if one of us would have come home later
Early
that
or
night or
something. Yeah.
early, and they would have been there and they're tweaked out, like
Who knows?
Who knows what happens or what they're
that's
carrying.
why we carry.
Yeah. And look, I'm not trying to live in fear, but let's be smart about our surroundings and be aware.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
be observant of
Mhm.
things like someone casing your place. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Boy, this was a heavy topic. Does anybody have a light one to throw on the table today? If not, I will.
Yeah, you throw it because mine's not heavy, but mine's serious.
Okay, well, I'll throw a lighthearted one. Tomorrow is National Potato Chip Day.
Oh.
And let's take the word potato out of the equation. Best chip.
Oh, that's
Oh, man.
Oh.
Doritos next.
No. I'm sorry.
my topic.
I need a more specific answer.
Oh, spicy nacho Doritos are the tops.
Ooh,
Wow.
Agree.
Spicy nacho, really?
In the Dorito world, I agree with that.
Oh,
But it's not my
general
favorite chip.
world.
I have a tie. I have two.
Okay,
It's better
that's
than
fine.
Doritos of any kind.
yeah.
French onion sun chips,
They're fine.
See, there's
And
French onion people, and they
all
do love
dressed up Ruffles.
What do
All
you mean?
dressed up Ruffles.
Yeah,
Have you tried the baked potato
Is
Ruffles?
that a flavor of Ruffles?
it is.
I have tried those.
Called All Dressed Up.
Okay.
been a few years,
What's
Yeah.
it taste of?
It's like a sweeter barbecue or like a ketchup almost.
Hmm.
I think, but the thing about Doritos, can you just eat like just a few
No.
of them?
Impossible.
Nope.
No.
Entire
Like
family
M&Ms,
size
right?
bag from Costco.
And like the Pringles, that's a serving, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The whole can.
That and a sleeve of Girl Scout cookies, dinner is
Oh,
served.
yes.
It's funny. You could put wine in one and Pringles in the other.
Yes.
Then get on your scooter in a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
Hey, haven't we heard that?
It's funny you
Everything
said
goes right with the
the Doritos because our son Austin would come home after being at the racetrack all day long, and we'd buy those big economy boxes at Costco, and there'd be like 10 flavors of Lay's,
Yes.
you know, whatever. We'd open it. We'd come home. It's like, okay, the box is open, and all the Doritos were gone.
The Lays are left.
Oh,
What
yeah.
happened? He's like, oh, I couldn't have just one bag. He'd eat like 6 of them. I'm like, dude, that was for the rest of the family.
And that and Cheetos, the crumbs are everywhere.
Oh.
everywhere.
The etiquette on that is though you take one of each.
Right, to even it all out.
Yeah.
So everyone gets
No,
a chance.
that's baloney because no one wants Fritos.
That's not true.
I like Fritos.
I
And
love
also,
Fritos.
if you're getting the bag, if you get one of those, the proper move is to eat one of each. If you're going to eat multiple bags, you got to spread it out.
Right.
You don't get to pick and choose.
Do you know what a Frito?
Jen, who picks your trail mix.
Chili cheese Fritos.
Ooh.
Those are
Oh.
killer.
Do you know what a Frito boat is?
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Okay, so when I grew up in Texas, I grew up in Houston in that area, and one of the things that was a standard besides the square pizzas at lunch, which were awesome, were Frito boats. And what they do is they take like a
Oh, I know what
single
a
serving
Frito
bag
boat
of
is.
Fritos, and they
Yeah.
put chili and cheese in it, and boom, you got lunch.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
We make our taco salads that,
That was
way.
at school?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't have that at school.
And-
Texas.
Yeah, Texas. And they would do
Yeah.
fried okra. Ooh, so good.
Well, they were
Whoa,
killing.
yeah.
In
Get
Texas,
outta
they had
here.
the cows out in the in the playground. They
Yeah.
would just walk out and kill them for
This
lunch.
is in my PV days, pre-vegan. But yeah, that's really, and of course you can make that as a vegan snack too. By
Now,
the way,
would you go if you have a choice between just a plain snack like that, or the chips, or what about chips, salsa, and queso?
I'm a chips
Oh.
and guac guy.
Yeah.
I can't
So
stop.
you can't do
though.
queso, though.
Right.
True, I can't do queso, so I've learned to become a huge fan of guac.
Queso.
So
What
here-
was it? That Andrea Grande or whatever her name is.
Ariana.
No, it's
Alright,
Andrea
her
Grande.
too.
Andrea.
That must be your sister.
Adriana Grande.
It's a size at Starbucks.
I'm the
Right,
old man.
Grande.
All right, so
Andrea Grande.
she just got in trouble because she came out with this product, and all of her fans realized that she was endorsing something that just one ingredient was not vegan,
That's a bunch of bull crap.
and she was
no,
they're all upset at her.
That's
That's
Tony.
not true. I heard
stay
it on my
out of
Alexa
pop
app
culture.
this morning.
On the Alexa app.
I asked Alexa. I wake up in the morning. I go, Alexa, what's the big news? And she starts out telling me about the school thing, and then she went straight into
What's the truth on that? I have the same story as Tony.
No, because she has the Starbucks drink and she's saying like try the new cloud frappy mochi whatever, I don't know what it's called.
Uh-huh.
But then in parentheses she says or have it with soy milk cuz
Or.
she's
She
vegan.
shouldn't say or. She should say you should have it with soy milk because she's vegan. That's
But
what they're saying.
Not
I don't
everyone's
care.
vegan
I
and
don't
vegan
care.
and if Starbucks is
Wait,
paying
not everyone's vegan?
Wait, what? The hell you
But
say,
anyway,
Jen?
I couldn't believe
Oh my god.
it. Literally went. It sent the internets into a frenzy yesterday because she somewhat endorsed one ingredient that was
Crazy.
not vegan, and I thought, oh my gosh, this country, all that's going on in the world,
Right.
and that was part of the news this
It's just
morning.
Scary.
she posted or with soy milk if you're vegan like I am. Like what is controversial about that?
Well, if you are
It's like the
vegan, there
Kardashians.
is one kind of Dorito that is vegan.
Really?
There is. It's these spicy, sweet chili Doritos.
Ooh.
I've had them. They are
What?
spicy.
What?
Yeah,
Where's
that one
that
doesn't.
flavor been?
Doesn't have cheese. All the others have cheese.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Real
interesting.
cheese?
Or the Cool Ranch has obviously the ranch part of it.
Right.
So, but yeah, so
Interesting.
there is one kind of vegan Doritos.
There you go.
Okay.
For
We're
that.
wedging our way into the world, one
Yeah.
chip at a time. Danny, did you pick a favorite?
I can't because I
Oh,
I
this
love
guy.
chips. I love chips. I love
Pick a favorite, Danny.
I love.
Okay, you're at the
gosh.
store. You can only grab one bag of chips. What is your go-to, Danny? I'm gonna teach him about hypotheticals here.
The Mrs. Vic's baked barbecue.
Ooh.
Oh no,
Barbecue's
Mrs.
a-
Vic's jalapeno
Miss
is the
Vicky's.
best.
Miss Vicky's, yeah.
Yeah,
But see, here's
barbecue's
what's
a good
really good.
What's jalapeno?
If you're like starving, take a scoop of cottage cheese and dip them in your chips. Oh, so good.
You lost me there, dude.
Or you could just eat the chips.
No, yeah. Don't knock
You're
it till you try
starving?
it.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Protein
Like
with
if you're
your
hungry,
carb.
protein, man,
Yeah,
it's good.
protein, that's
chips and
true.
cottage
If
cheese.
that was so
dying.
good.
All right.
If that was so
Where's
good,
the cottage
why doesn't
cheese?
Mrs. Vicky's do a cottage cheese flavored chip?
I'll eat it. I'm in it.
Oh.
I wash
wait,
it down
but
with
see,
some
I like
LaCroix.
all the chips.
Vicky's is good though. I like it with
Hey,
Sam.
Yeah,
I love
I do too. With the
LaCroix.
sandwiches, they're crispy, but I also have favorite for the Fritos. I have a great dinner recipe with Fritos that we do every week.
LaCroix tastes like hairspray. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jen.
What?
What?
You
Does.
have
It
weird
tastes like
taste
hairspray.
buds.
The drink.
No, it doesn't.
It's
Oh.
it's his lack of iron and meat in his body.
Right,
It
everything's
changes the
you.
flavor.
His taste buds are gone. Sorry, guys. All right, let's go. Ready? Another one?
Who's got another one?
I think everyone can agree with this one. I am sick and tired of hearing stories about animals being destroyed because humans are too freaking stupid about selfies. Talking about the lady
God.
in Phoenix with the jaguar.
Yeah.
Now she's not. That's animal's not being destroyed.
They
No.
wanted to
they
destroy
want to.
it.
Harambe
They,
all over again.
They
They
wanted
wanted
to,
to.
but they didn't.
her lawyers had said no.
So what her lawyers want?
They still tried it, and
The zoo said, "No
sorry.
way."
Yeah, we're not putting them down.
My favorite line about that whole thing was that she said, I learned my lesson. Well, God, I'd hope so.
Yeah. Well, I like the video where she goes, "Oh, it hurts." No kidding.
Yeah.
Have you seen that cat's nails?
I see the inside of your arm.
Wait,
yeah,
wait,
I'll
wait.
bet that hurts.
Did she really jump into the jaguar?
she fell.
No,
No,
she
she
stepped.
leaned.
Oh, she
She leaned.
leaned.
She was leaned
stepped
'cause she was
over
getting
on
a
the rail and she
selfie.
leaned back, and the cat reached through and scratched her back on
Oh,
her
no,
tramp stamp.
wait a minute. Now, see, that says to me that the zoo has some responsibility there. That cat should not be able to get to her in any way, shape, or form.
She was on the other side of the barrier.
Yeah, she was on the other side of the barrier.
Yeah, she had.
Oh, she went over the
Yes,
barrier. That's what
yeah.
I was. Well, then
it's
she's
like,
an idiot.
It's Harambe.
Yeah, that's what
I
I
we call
thought you
that
were.
natural selection.
Yeah, I thought you were just saying she leaned back and then all of a sudden the jaguar.
This is a whole different thing than Harambe too. This needs to be put out.
Right.
Because Harambe, he still had the kid.
Right.
True.
They
Yeah.
did the right thing.
Yeah.
With
Sure.
Harambe, it's tragic
had
and horrible,
to.
and it was too bad.
They had to.
But you can't let a kid die.
Right.
No, I agree 100%.
It was the right thing to do.
But stupid on the parents
Yeah.
for not paying attention to their
well,
child
I mean, no, people don't pay attention to their kids a lot.
because they're looking at their phones,
People
getting
don't
ready
pay
for a
attention.
selfie.
I mean, kids can just get away.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not just not paying attention to
is true.
kids 1 second and they're
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
just the kids. How about the couple that went to Yosemite, climbed Half Dome? Okay, now they're standing 16,800 feet in the air, and they're like, "Hey, we want to get a selfie." But where we're standing 16,800 feet in the air wasn't close enough to the edge, so they moved, and guess what? The rocks broke, and they fell to their death. What was wrong with moving
God, this
20
gives me
feet? You're
heebie-jeebies,
higher than
man.
anybody else.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Why did you need to
There
go to the
are
edge?
signs
now.
everywhere. When you go to Yellowstone,
yes.
there are signs everywhere that says "Do not leave the path."
Yeah.
Right.
They have those wood paths for you to stay on, so you don't fall into the Grand Prismatic and melt to death.
The
I love
same way
it.
on a ski trail.
The
When they say
skiers and the
don't out of
snowboarders.
bounds area, cool, I'll stay on this side. Avalanche danger, I ain't trying to get in that.
And I don't want in a tree
snowboarders
well
are the
either.
worst.
Well, hey,
and,
easy,
and
easy,
skiers.
easy.
No, I mean like they get bored after a while with the normal
Sure,
stuff,
I
so
get
they're
that.
like they
That
go
looks really
they
good
go
over there.
all the time, and
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure
look-
it's exciting, but man,
It is, but when you see avalanche danger, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to end up in that. I've seen that end really badly for people. No, thanks.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's really, if
I think
you're a
it's cool,
thrill
though.
seeker and you want to go do that, that's fine. But if you come out and try to blame somebody else for it,
Right.
that's
then
the
it's bad.
difference.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
With like the Jaguar thing, like she's like, that's stupid Jaguar. No, lady.
Right.
yeah.
It's a
Jaguar's doing what it is.
jaguar.
That
There was
screams-
a big
that's-
green
yeah.
barrier fence around that thing, and you decided to go across it.
yeah.
It's a lot easier to correct the behavior of humans than it is a jaguar.
See, and the thing
Yes.
is she came out and had said all this stuff before she got like lawyers involved, like when the media first came out.
Right.
But I just saw a statement that she had made that said, "No, I wasn't over the thing and I wasn't trying to take a selfie." And I'm like, okay, that is your lawyers telling you what to say, Miss Thing.
Right.
Like, you already said things
Yeah.
and
But
it got out there.
And there was
you-
already people watching.
Yeah, you
that
can't
saw
put
it
the
all.
toothpaste back in the
that's-
tube.
That screams of.
Ooh, that's a good line.
If I had to guess what happened, because an attorney contacted her and said,
Sure.
"You might be able to make some money off this."
Oh, of course.
The
Yeah.
ambulance
that happened.
chasers.
That
Yeah.
happened to me in a,
The
in a
Sue
I
Happy
got
world.
in a car accident like 2 states over one time, and all of a sudden in the mail, I get a letter from an attorney going, "I'd love to represent you in this." Didn't even cross my mind. I'm like,
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
who was
yeah.
her lawyer? Gloria Allred or Mark Garoppolo's?
no.
Is it either one? Huh?
Was it really?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if it was either one of those two.
Or
Gloria
Stormy
Allred would
Daniels'
not take that
lawyer.
case.
Maybe is that who I'm thinking of? Who was remember the Scott Peterson thing back in California, and it was Mark Garagos was his lawyer, and the one of the girl he was having the affair with out of Fresno was that Gloria Allred?
I think it was.
Who are these people you're
These are
talking
the ones
about?
that are always jumping on the high publicity cases.
Cases,
to
yeah.
represent the
Yeah, but on
client.
the side of right, she wouldn't.
Wait,
Oh,
is this
that might be
lady
true.
is this that lady that takes on the pro bono, like making a murder?
Yes.
Is that her?
I think so, isn't it?
No, that's not
She's
Gloria
like
Allred.
the most famous.
Yeah.
lawyer.
There's a
Yeah.
pool of those lawyers that always pursue
Pop
the
up.
high
Yep.
profile cases.
Like
that.
if there's
Gloria
like,
Allred was sorry, Tony.
was she in the Bill Clinton thing somehow or another?
No, she was in the Bill Cosby theme. She had
the victim.
Janice
Yeah.
Dickinson. I think it's Janice Dickinson. She was her attorney for it, and then she got other ladies to come forward for Bill
She
Cosby.
usually picks cases that are high profile, but that
right,
are legit.
right.
I think.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to say
Right,
it?
yeah.
That's a good point.
She really believes there's
Sorry,
something is that wrong
Yeah,
there.
there's justice.
That
needs
took
to be-
a
Yeah.
weird turn. Sorry.
Sure.
No, sorry.
Who
She's probably not watching.
That's a good point. Jen, what do you have today? Did we already do you?
Mine's really easy, just like locker room etiquette. Like last week, we talked about gym etiquette
Yeah.
for the gym here in the building. But
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
Please. Yesterday I was doing curls because I'm a big gym rat,
yeah.
and I grunted on the last one, and I thought of Danny, and that was like my whole workout was ruined because I felt bad because I let a little come out, and I'm like, oh, Danny would be judging me right now.
because he's a Planet Fitness guy.
Yeah.
you know, no luggers,
No
or-
noises.
no
lunkers.
no lunkers allowed.
Right.
Well, if you
That's
want to turn the page.
But it wasn't like a scream. There's a difference between like a, there's that. But then there's like a,
If you're gonna draw the line,
there's that guy
That might be
downstairs.
a-
And I'm like, I've seen him twice now. I'm like, come on.
That might be a funny video for us to do, though. Listen,
Right.
maybe we should go down there and kind of hide in the corner and have Danny or one of us go over there and get on the weights while it's full and just like be like,
No, I'll go the. I'll go the.
oh yeah. Ooh, excuse me.
anyway, Jen, I'm sorry to jump
Yes.
in there.
No,
but
that's okay.
I was reminded of Danny yesterday.
So, but you were talking about like the etiquette of in the gym, but then like I was showering before the podcast, and I was like, and these girls came in, and I could tell that it was probably their first time checking out the gym area because people are still
Yeah, they're like, whoa,
finding out
cool.
that it's there and checking it out. And so they had walked in, and there's like curtains on the things, but the two smaller stall curtains don't exactly fit the entire like
Yes.
width of the thing, you know?
I hate
So like
that.
there's a little tiny section on the one side that like doesn't completely, so if you walked past, you could maybe see, but only if you walked. This is hard to explain, you had to be there.
No, we get
If
it.
you come in, so I'm showering in this stall, and there's one here and then a big one over here. In order to maybe see into my curtain, you would have had to walk past me into the other part of the showers to maybe
Oh,
see.
yeah.
I made sure that the side that you could see from the entire locker room was covered.
Closed, right.
So these girls, they're coming, I can tell they're touring, and they're like, oh, the showers. And so they walk past my shower, and they're checking out the other showers. I'm like, dudes, it's a shower. Like,
Right, it's a shower.
yeah,
There's nothing special here.
And then all of a sudden you hear, "Oh, is that Jen?"
Let's take a selfie.
What would have
get a
really been
pic.
funny is they just grabbed the curtain and opened it. Look at this one.
Well, and I did this weird thing because my shower was off. I had just turned my shower off and I was drying. And so I felt the need to like make noises so they knew someone was
Jake's going to say something. I think I know
So
where he's
I
going.
was like,
It's fair.
I was trying to make my
I sniffle a
towel.
lot when that's the situation. When I walk into the locker room and I want to let somebody know that I'm there.
Yes.
Or if you're in a stall at the bathroom and,
Yes.
and it won't lock,
Yeah.
and somebody walks in, you're
You
like,
go,
Yeah.
Oh, I just let her rip in that occasion.
please don't open the door.
This part there, I stand with my feet close to the curtain so you can see that there's a foot.
See, that's
Right.
smart. But
Yeah.
but I had to do that. I had to like make sure the towel noises were like.
But the proper the proper
Trying to make
etiquette.
natural noises.
Yeah, the proper etiquette there is if you know someone's in the shower and it's not a great thing. As you walk by, you look away. You don't.
Right.
I know people are weird though.
Yeah.
Going in.
So
there,
it
yeah.
just got me thinking about like okay, there's locker rooms at like your gym. We're strangers, but I feel like yes, the rest of the people in this building are strangers, but we work in the same place, so like a gym and
You're
a
gonna see him
locker room
again.
Yeah,
here are
right, yeah.
different.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And this kind of reminds me of a situation this morning because I was at the stand-up urinal in the bathroom and Mojo walks in. And as he walks by, he kind of leans over top the thing and starts talking to you.
I didn't look at you.
I felt like you were. I thought you were
never
trying to
looked
get a
at you.
peep.
No.
I thought you were trying to get a peep,
In
Mojo.
my peripheral, when I came through, I saw your phone. I'm like, are you texting while you're peeing?
It was kind of one of these, you know. It was kind of like.
That is not true. I clearly looked down. No.
And I automatically felt inferior, which says more about me than you.
Don't defer from the fact that you were texting while you peed.
Okay, so let me ask you this,
Put
Jen.
the phone down while you pee.
Put the phone down.
I was
How
in
long
there,
do you
I was
pee?
in there like this.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, that's really weird. Taking selfies?
Am I the only one that thinks that's a little weird and
Yeah.
kind of gross?
Kind of weird.
You
Yeah.
wash your hands, but the germs are still on
I
that.
got two hands.
Hey, sometimes for some of us, it's
Yeah.
a two-hand job.
Whoa, easy.
Yep.
Yeah. How's the water?
Oh my God!
So,
Get me out of here!
so this is a crazy
Oh,
question.
Jen, you're still here. Sorry.
And maybe like when you're in high school or elementary school, one of the things, and most kids go through this, it is scary to go to the bathroom or to open showers. Like I remember my first time in high school, I saw open showers. I was like, oh God, no.
yeah.
I am not going in there. I don't care how bad I stink or how bad I sweat.
No
I am
way,
not going in
man.
there.
No way.
Do you get to a point, same thing for females, like, does it come an age barrier? You're like, all right, screw it, whatever.
No, not for me.
I can't do it either. I remember one time we were at the Pendleton Roundup and we were at the Triangle and they had school showers and the school showers had no curtains.
No.
And I'm like, yeah, there's a bunch of drunk cowboys and I ain't gonna hang my stuff out to dry.
No.
No way.
I wish I was that proud, though.
I didn't shower for 3
Like,
days.
the guy,
I wish I had the guts to, like you said,
Oh.
go out and just be like, helicopter time.
Oh yeah, there's a guy in our gym, man. He just throws his towel over
Yeah,
his
no.
shoulder and he's walking around there like he owns a place. And I'm
I'm
like,
like,
dude, seriously,
Right,
man.
right? That's what I was thinking of shower etiquette. That's what you said that I was like, oh God.
Yes, I'm like,
It's so funny that you say that because I remember growing up, we'd be in like swimming locker room, like at the pool.
Yep.
And my mom and I'd be trying to like hold my towel and change. And my mom saying the phrase, which every mom, I swear, has said it, like, oh, it's all women. So
Yeah.
like in your head, you're like, okay, well, maybe one day I'll get to that point. And maybe some women do. But I'm still like, towel's still on and I'm trying to figure out how to put my bra on without losing the towel. And
Right.
like I still am not in this mindset of we're all women. Like I don't care. There's creepers in every gender.
Yeah, there are.
It's
Funny.
Good point.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're not alone in that one. We're all a little modest when it comes to shower time.
Yeah. We know who the creeper is.
What? Tony, what you got today?
I don't know. I don't think we can top that one. No, this whole thing about Aunt Becky.
Oh,
yeah.
You
Lori
keep
Loughlin?
saying that,
What?
and I have an Aunt Becky, and
I'm
I
sorry.
keep
Not your Aunt Becky, the
Say-
one
I
from
know
the one
everyone
everyone knows
names.
from Full House.
I know.
I never remember celebrity names. So her real name.
Lori
Loughlin.
Loughlin.
And also, real
Loughlin.
quick, she's the less famous of the two, right?
Full
She's
House?
more
the other one is
famous
William
to me
H.
than
Macy's
the
wife.
other.
Also known as Felicity Huffman. She has her own
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
agency and identity.
She's
I
got
guess
a
you're
couple
right.
shows.
I never thought Felicity is probably the most popular, but the
Yeah.
one.
No, because the other one's on Hallmark, on like every movie they make.
Well, I
Yeah.
think the thing with her Aunt Becky is she was like this
America's aunt.
She was the sweetheart and she
Right.
was innocent and
Felicity
so
Huffman has like an Oscar, and like so like it's
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
no question.
but
Right.
it's
She's been in a couple movie roles and
so
stuff.
if you don't know about it quickly, they were basically involved in a scandal where they were bribing colleges to get their kids in, and it's like Aunt Becky spent $500,000, and like one of the things I still don't understand it, but so athletics was a part of it. So they would they would pay off these coaches to like, I guess, write letters to the colleges saying, hey, this kid is a great athlete. I don't know what this had to do with anything, but like Aunt Becky had her daughter, I heard had like this, there was a row team, right?
Right.
And she had her
At
daughter's
USC.
face like photoshopped onto one of the,
Oh, no way.
but just all kinds of weird stuff.
Okay,
Wow.
but let's be clear.
Okay.
It was not her specifically.
Okay.
They hired
Right.
somebody, and he was the mastermind behind the
Oh,
thing. And
okay.
he was working with Yale, Harvard, Stanford, USC. Those were some of them.
Ooh, that's good for
All-
them then,
so-
because their attorney can spin that a
And
lot of
one of
different
the
ways.
things they did was give them like twice as long to take the PSAT as well and some of
Right.
the testing too.
he had mentioned their names and said these children need help.
Yes,
and he was the one that actually talked to the athletic directors, because yesterday at Yale and at Stanford, I think at Harvard even, 14-time national championship athletic director fired on the spot.
Yeah, they were a big part of
They
it.
were not messing around.
So, but here's my question is this, because I really want to talk about is how guilty are these parents? Like, I mean, how much of that did they know was going on? Did they just go up to this guy and go, "Here's my money, get my kid in college," or did they know that was deceptive and lying?
Especially to
Because
get
that's the way the attorneys are going to spin that, right?
Right.
Felicity Huffman's bail was set at $250,000.
This is serious. I don't think people understand how
That's
serious.
a serious
Well,
offense.
your bail is set according to your means, though, isn't it?
The
a
means
good
and
point.
severity of the crime, I think both play factors in
Right.
your
Yeah.
bail.
I
heard.
thought it factored in if you're a flight risk.
Well, bail, whether it's set or not,
Whether
is
it's said is that.
But
Right.
how much it is depends on how much money you have.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So she paid $25,000 yesterday to get out.
Oh, $250,000.
That's the
25 to get out.
bail, but you have to
Oh,
pay
got it.
10% of that.
10%,
The
got it.
bond is the bail is 25,
And you don't
The
get that
bond is-
money back, do you?
No, you do not.
Damn.
So my
Jeez,
thought was,
I did not know that.
my whole thought on the thing was the fact that they might have been told, and I'm not sticking up for them in any sort of way, but maybe is like, yes, I want my kid wants to go to SC, I'll make a charitable donation in that honor. And then somebody at that point took that money to this guy Singer, and he was the one in touch with athletic directors, teachers.
There's going to be a ray of
Somebody in the inner office that worked on scores and ACTs and all that stuff was the one that gave it all up, and that's how it came out.
This is a really fascinating thing.
gonna
It
be
is. They were
interesting to
even.
see.
This is what money can do for you, man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They were even going in after these kids took those tests. They had somebody going in and correcting them,
Yes.
and putting in the right answers. I mean,
Oh.
how do you get that high in something? It's scary.
And
Yeah.
where's your
But anyway,
moral compass? You think you're going to get away with that?
Yeah. Here's my quick question
Probably.
to you guys. I mean, if your kids, as long as you're like my kids, if they want to go to college and they can get in any college, I'm like, where do you want to go? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and they're like, well, I want to start out at community college. All right. That's awesome. That's great. I don't care where my kids get their degree from. Am I rare in that?
No, as long
I mean,
as
I'm sure, would it be cool to have your kid graduate from the same
Sure.
university you did? Yeah, of course. But to the point that you're pressuring your kid and making donations and,
and
all
you're
this
setting
stuff.
them up for failure. Just because you get in doesn't mean you're going to ace the classes. And
Sure.
you're not going to get everybody involved in that
Well,
conspiracy.
we talked about it briefly on the show this morning, and I thought either Jake or Jen made a good point. You said, well, some of these guys, like, what was it, the head of
PIMCO,
PIMCO?
CEO.
I didn't want to say it because I wasn't sure. He's the C, and she's like, he doesn't want to. When he's at the the parties or he's at the little banquets, he wants to say to his peers, "Yes, my son's going to Yale or wherever." And I'm like, that's kind of sad to me.
These people are driven by
Fame.
their appearance.
Right.
Everything's appearance.
I'm sure there's, and in that same situation, like Lori Loughlin, like her kids are going to SC, and her daughter even said on her Instagram page, she's like, I'm not really here for school, but I'm here, and she was doing videos in her dorm room at USC.
Oh, yeah, isn't she an influencer? And
She's a
big
YouTube. She's a
influencer.
big YouTube star, and
Yeah.
so it was interesting to see all that. Now, like I said, I'm with you 100%. Lexi's in college at Clark College. I am so proud of her. I don't care where she goes. She's going to Clark College.
Yeah.
She's gonna become a nurse, and that's all that makes me happy.
Yes, I'm like, you find what you want to do in life. You want to go to tech school. You want to go to college, wherever. I don't get this whole.
Yeah, Harvard or
It really,
Yale.
truly, it screams of this is about me.
Mhm.
Like where my kids go to
I
college
don't-
is about me. Not
Yeah,
about
no,
them.
that's a great
Not
point.
about them.
I think my parents, I don't think they were going to be happy if I went just anywhere. Like, I think for them, and I'm not tooting my own horn at all, but I think they felt that I was special
Mhm.
enough that I needed to be going somewhere that was more challenging for me.
Right.
Like me just going to community college to them didn't
Right.
seem, not good enough isn't the word, but they felt like I was educated enough and smart enough to be able to go to like a private school and be more challenged or be in that environment with people. And my parents didn't graduate from college, so like they really had big
They're not
hopes
alone.
for me that I would go to some like big school and get a big degree and do the things. But my parents also weren't gonna. I got into Whitworth up in Washington, got a music scholarship. It didn't even cover like a fourth of what the tuition was going to be.
Right.
And while
Scholarships aren't a free ride.
no, and while my parents were like, yay, you got into this super awesome private school. Like, we can't afford that. Like, you can take out loans in your name and we'll pay for some of it. But like, if you want to be given like tuition for free, like we could pay for like Oregon State. And so like I went to Oregon. I ended up going to Oregon State, which I loved going to Oregon State. But I think that some parents, I can see, yes, they come from a place probably of like stature and influence, and my kid has to go to Yale. But in some cases, some parents just really do want the best for their kids.
Absolutely.
And I think they get just a little bit too wrapped up and carried away, and then they start making decisions and doing stuff like that. And
I won't lie, I was the same way. I was the same way. I wanted Lexi to go to U of O because we knew that they had a great softball program. We knew that they were 2 or 3 time, 4-time state champs or national champs. And
But he works in radio, so we couldn't afford the guy.
Right. So I was like, you know,
have to go in state. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. But then we also looked at schools that we thought we'd like to send her to, like WSU, but they don't have a softball program. So that's like, and at that point we're like, all right, well, let's just see if, first of all, if you're going to like it, because we were proud. We wanted to send her to ASU. I was thinking of all the schools like Florida, Tennessee, you know, all these big schools that where she could go further her career and go to ESPN and be a sideline reporter. She could, you know, continue. But then she decided that she wanted to be a nurse, and I said that's even better because you can go work anywhere in the world. But I do believe that same thing for your parents. Like, I wanted nothing but the best for her. But then I saw my checkbook compared to their bills, and I was like, "Whoops, that's not going to work."
And it really does depend on the kid. I was no surprise here. I was not by any means an academic All-American, and every test I took told me I would not be able to get through college. So
I believe that.
Yeah, and
we're all nodding.
Yeah, and so I go to community college. Would have been a great place for me to mature.
Sure,
it would have been a great place to offer intro. It's kind of some intro programs to get me ready,
right?
Because it wasn't that I was dumb. I just didn't apply myself in high
school. Take a
school.
little extra focus.
Kind of had to go through those things. And so, quite frankly, I did end up in what would be community college for about a year, and that's where I figured out what I wanted to do, and then end up with a master's degree.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
no,
you know, and so that's why I really believe that community college is a great choice, and especially if your parents aren't going to be able to pay for you, then it's so much less expensive, and you get your first 2 years there.
Right.
You're not going to come out with this huge student loan. You know,
and that first 2 years is the same.
It's the same no matter
everywhere
where
you go.
That's right.
And so I'm really hoping if my kids, you know, if that's the path they take, then I hope they'll go to community college for a couple years.
Yeah.
So.
And, you know, college in for everyone. I didn't go.
But again, my kids are a lot like me. They're not academias. I mean, they're good. They're smart kids, but they're good kids. And so for them, what if my kid I'm looking at my kid going, oh, this kid wants to be a scientist, or he wants to be a doctor, or he wants to.
Right.
So then, you know, in my mind, I might be like, ooh, I want him to go to UW.
Yeah.
Or I want him to go to, you know.
He can go wherever he wants because he can pay for it himself and he can afford to pay it back.
Because, like, go back to what Jen said, that's where he's going to be challenged, and then it'll make it easier to get into a med school. And I don't worry about that.
I don't think it's fair to say that going to community college and going to a 4-year school is the same first couple years.
Academically?
Academically, it's the same. It's not the same experience.
That's the good part.
And I would hate I hope my kids go to a 4-year college. I hope they do the dorm thing. I hope they do the whole thing because those are the best years of my life.
Right.
And I hope they get that.
You learn
if they
a
want
lot
to live
of
at home,
things.
great. You know, I'll make them lunches.
Yeah.
That's fine. If that's what they want to do and they choose to do that. But if they want to go to school, God, I hope I'm in a place to facilitate that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it is a fun.
Best years of my life were definitely my college years.
Yeah.
It was
no doubt
fun.
And I will tell you this: I miss I miss not going to a big undergraduate college.
Sure.
Like when you go to a big school, it is kind of special. It's kind of fun as far as the athletic events go. Like
Oregon State games.
Right.
Oh,
there were 50 people at our football games. You know, I mean, you know,
there were 50 people
27
in
of them were
one
the team.
bench.
Right. Our your band wouldn't have fit in our stadium, and so I can see. So as a parent, you want that for them too. You
Sure.
do. That's a good
You want them
point.
to
You
experience
want them to
that.
have that fun and
Yeah.
to live in that dorm room and to experience making friends for life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe meeting their husband or their wife, right?
Well,
yeah.
if college are the best years of your life, I think my best years of my life are here with you guys.
Well, you didn't go to college, so you wouldn't know.
I'm just trying to wrap it all up so we can wrap up this edition of
Nice.
BS. Did everybody
Yeah.
get their topic out? I think so,
did.
right? Yeah.
I'm
Jake?
gonna-
Yes?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Go get a bag of Doritos.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
happy
I'm
St.
so
Patrick's Day
hungry.
this weekend, too. Hopefully the luck of the Irish is with you. Anybody got any big plans for this weekend?
I don't know. I got asked
St.
out
Patrick's Day?
on
I forgot it was
anybody gonna
St.
turn
Patrick's
up on
Day.
Saturday night? No?
I got asked out
Well,
on a
I'm
date.
going to avoid downtown on Sunday because it's the Shamrock Run. They're expecting 75,000 people.
Ooh,
so
good night.
avoid
Yeah.
downtown.
And let's be
Oh.
honest, Danny, now that I've moved on to your side of the river, we don't want to go anywhere when there's 75,000 people on the road because they're all coming from there.
Yeah, let's go eat corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah, none of us live downtown anymore, so that's
I'm pretty sure everyone lives on the other side of that bridge by the way traffic looks.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the
that's-
strangest thing
it's a
I've ever seen.
lot of people downtown for that event. So
Yeah,
it
it's
might
crazy.
be something to avoid, if
Avoid
you're not,
that.
if you're not coming to it. So we'll do it again next Wednesday, 10:30. Hopefully Facebook and Zuckerberg can get their act together so we can do this in the live like we normally do.
Yeah.
But until then, thank you for listening and watching, and have a great week.